Today it is my real pleasure to speak with Banya Lim. Banya, you are a multi-generational healer, energy coach, and the creator of the Chi Mastery System. You have over 30 years of experience as a spiritual acupuncturist and practitioner of oriental medicine. And in your work, you blend energy work, somatic awareness, and meditation. You are passionate about helping people reconnect with the innate wisdom of their bodies so that they can heal, clear energetic blockages, and align with their true purpose. Banya, it's a real pleasure to have you to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your invitation.
It's as I was telling you just before we started recording, it is a topic that I believe, apart from my own personal interest, it is a topic that I think it is very useful, extremely useful for, I would dare to say everyone, but I prefer not to use that word if I can avoid it. But anyway, I'm looking forward to exploring with you today the wisdom of the body, the energy, the chi that within the body. And I will start very briefly, just so we can have a very solid foundation for anyone listening, regardless of their background or, experience with these things. You describe chi as something we already know within ourselves. So, how can someone begin to feel or recognize their chi in everyday life?
Yeah, wonderful question. I think we operate from bodies, voices, and languages all the time. It's just unconscious. We are not aware of it most of the time. When you wake up in the morning, what do you want to eat? What do you want to wear? What kind of color that you get drawn to? It's all coming from the voices and the direction that's your body is telling you but we are not aware that's happening. Based on five element theories, oriental medicine is really directed by two main theories. One is yin and yang theories. I'm sure you heard of that. And so the second one is five element theories. Based on five element theories, there are five elements, and each element connected to different organs in the body, and each organ is connected to different emotion in the body. And five elements can be translated to everything that we know: direction, color, taste, touch, sensory, everything. For example, I was thinking about this morning, that how our body is telling us what would be the best, even what color to wear each day. When you wake up in the morning, you get drawn to certain color of shirt or pants. And I'm sure you have experienced when you wake up in the morning, some days, like you want to wear this particular shirt that you don't normally wear, but you just feel like this is a day to wear. I don't know what it is. Color also has connection to element and its emotion. For example, wood is one of the five elements. Emotion, the organs are liver and gallbladder, and its emotion is anger. And when you spend a lot of energy on that emotion, your organs start to, I would say, suffer. And then the next day, your body will try to tell you, okay, it is actually best to wear this kind of clothes. So green is connected to wood. Green is connected to wood. So when you wake up in the morning, when you get drawn to certain color, that's your body's way of telling you, okay, this is the most harmonizing thing for you to wear. And also the taste that's connected to wood is sour. And when you get drawn to tasting or eating sour tasting food, it's also your body's way of telling this is also the most harmonizing thing to eat today. So that's just one of the example. Everything's unconscious. We're not aware of these things are happening. But when we start to bring more awareness into this through just being quiet with ourselves. I think one of the best way to do that is meditation, that you're actually going to do this more in a more conscious way.
Thank you. The key word that you said there towards the end was awareness, because all of that requires the awareness. So that's great. Banya, we will come back to that and explore some, more specific elements of it. I would like, in terms of some context from your background and your story that, created or require. What I'm trying, anyway, I'm trying to phrase it in a very complicated way now, but so I will keep it simple. From your story, your journey into
Mhm.
this, into healing, began
Mhm.
with your own
Yeah.
crisis. So I would like for you to share with us the turning point
Mhm.
and what revealed to you about the connection between energy, the body, and
Mhm.
changed you.
Yeah. Yes. My parents, I already describing coming of together of yin and yang, like literally like opposite of the energy. My dad was originally from North Korea. My mom was from South Korea. And they went through a war. And over the years, I realized there was so much pain they were holding, like literally holding in their body. Pain of the wars, pain of the destruction, pain of the separation, because my dad never got to reunite with his family in North Korea. The reason that I tell you about my parents is that I feel like I inherit so much aside from that I'm aware of. I think there's so much more. And because of that, and because also I myself went through a lot of, traumas as a child, I started to have depression in high school and college, and it got really, really bad in graduate school. Not only that, I started to have a lot of gastrointestinal issue, get IBS, sorry. And at some point that my body couldn't absorb any nutrients. Like literally when I eat, nothing can be absorbed. Like I was like pale as, paper, and I didn't know how to function at some point. And I decided to do two things at the time: movement and meditation. Although many people and doctors recommend that I should be on medication and taking different the chemicals and so on, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to do those two things. I'm gonna just give myself to do this. I remember there's epiphany. I was looking at like when you go to a restaurant, there's menu sometimes on the cashier register, and you can pick and choose and tell them this is what I want. And I had this moment like, wow, I'm choosing this emotion and thoughts that's destructive to me over and over because I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. Although it was not good for me, but that's what I've been doing all my life. But I saw this also other rays of different emotion that I can choose from. And this is something I'm sure we all know this, but for me it was such a revelation, and I had a deep understanding. Wow, I can be able to choose different emotion, and these are available, but I've been just keep doing this over and over and causing pain within my body. And also at the same time, I felt the connection between that emotion and energy blockages within my body. And when I made a conscious decision to choose different emotion, that choose positive emotion, my body respond right away. And it took me about 2.5 months and to reverse every symptoms within my body. And that I have another moment of my body is just dissolving all these blockages. When I think certain way, when I choose these positive thoughts, I felt that the energy dissolving within my body. And I didn't have those symptoms anymore. It's funny that at the time, the doctor told me that this is something that you may make it through. You're going to have to deal with it for the rest of your life. But I don't have any of those. I probably am more healthy now than when I was in my 30s. So making that connection understanding the connection through the, I'm using the word awareness again, through the awareness within the body, I realized that is the key. And that was when I was in my 30s. I'm in my 50s now. I share this with my clients about the connection. So in oriental medicine, there is a specific connection to organs, to emotion. Earlier, I told you about woods, liver, and gallbladder. Their emotion is anger, right? And there's connection between urinary bladders and kidneys. Their emotion is fear. Urinary bladder meridians runs back of the body, like backside, and it's bilateral. So next to the spine, it goes down like this. When you're under a lot of fear, these meridians start to get blocked. Not only that, you start feeling it in your body. This is why we often said when we are under a lot of fear, we say, I have a chill going down my spine. These words, these phrases did not come by accident. It's based on us feeling the body, us feeling the energy, us feeling the blockages within the body. So over the years, I would ask my clients, like this is a connection between the sometimes back pain to the fear. It doesn't mean that you're a fearful person. It could be there's a certain memories, certain events that happen in your life might have created this. I'm just sharing with you. So you can think about the connection. Perhaps one might have happened in the past. And always there is a story that my clients share. So, and I realized that each person have to go into a very deep level, an unconscious level to really deal with and work through it. And this is where somatic work and meditation come in.
And I will come back to that. You said about the word awareness, and I think we will use that word many times during this conversation because through that we can. You said earlier about choosing different emotions, and I like very much how you were describing it with, the screens. So let me ask practically someone, how can they begin the process of choosing another emotion? And the reason why I'm asking that, as you are aware, is that emotions have the tendency to hijack our attention. So we go with the emotion before we even realize that this emotion is present. So
Mm.
being able to choose a different emotion, uh, I suppose, requires some kind of, I will say the word awareness again, but I would like to hear your thoughts on how practically one can cultivate that ability, shall we say, to choose another emotional state.
Oh my God, excellent question. But before choosing emotion, or before choosing this positive emotion, well, what we consider positive emotion, we first have to work through the repetitive, this recording going in our head
Mm-hmm.
first. Trying to choose this emotion is active action on denying what's actually happening.
Uh-huh.
So first thing is when certain things come in, the thought create emotion. Okay, let's say negative thoughts. Usually if we do this for a long time, it creates creates as energy blockage within our body. But we can talk about that a little bit more deeply. When we have these thoughts come in, we have to stop doing these three things. First, not identifying with it. Try not to suppress it. Try not to get rid of it. When we do these three things, one of these things, all three are at the same time, we give energy to that thought. We literally give power to our thoughts. But the thoughts, like in a Buddhist tradition, we said the thoughts are just thoughts. That's not us. But when we give energy to this, we end up identifying with these thoughts and we think that that's us. But that's not us. Thoughts are thoughts. Buddhist monks said thoughts are just the clouds passing in the sky or the water on the river. It will just pass through. But we give power to it with these three things. So working on not identifying with it, not try to suppress it, not try to get rid of it, is the key. We give tremendous power with these three things. The science, behavior science, already been proven that when we have a certain thought that creates emotion, an energetical emotion within the body, it passes through us. It takes 90 seconds. It takes 90 seconds. If we just give it a time and not doing these three things, it will just pass through us. And it's the same thing with all the animals. And animals know this so well. Have you ever seen like two animals fighting each other, like almost trying to kill each other? After a few seconds, they just move away and just peacefully walk away. They don't hold on. They don't say, "Oh, you did this to me. I'm gonna hurt you." And how can you do this? They don't have any of this emotion. Like I remember, I think the ducks are the very good example. There's ducks in the pond, like pecking each other, almost like bleeding. And then after a few minutes, they just peacefully swim away.
Mhm.
And they don't think about what happened. They don't think of what he or she did this to me. By doing this, we hold on energetically and creates blockage within the body. Literally blockage within the meridian system. I don't know if you ever seen a acupuncture points, meridian system with acupuncture points along the meridian. Literally, it creates blockages based on that emotional energy.
Mhm.
Acupuncture is actually simply going to those specific points to open them up. But if people go back to the same lifestyle, same relationship, same dynamic, they'll block again. This is why I keep seeing people, okay, we work on it, they feel great, then they come back with the same symptom over and over. And this is why I start talking to them about the connection between the emotion and the body and let them work through it. And me being the guide to work on the root of the issue. Oftentimes it's based on relationships or based on our belief about ourselves.
It's fascinating, and also in a way, it is very comforting to know that you mentioned 90 seconds. That is really not a long time. It's 1 minute and a half, and you can go through a physical sensation for a minute and a half, no matter how uncomfortable it might or you might perceive it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I had, you were saying about those three things not to do, not to identify with it, not to suppress the emotion, not to try get rid of it, is what can we do instead of that? Because that might be the default mode. What is the active or a active process that one can take to move away from that default of identifying with it and trying to get rid of it and so on?
Mm-hmm.
I hope my question
So,
makes sense.
yes, perfect. Perfect sense. Having this information alone opens up a lot of things. Just someone having this information, oh, those three things, and that's what I do. And having, once again, having awareness of that and having this information, like I said, opens up to new behavior, new thoughts. And don't, I told you, for me to come out of my depression, two things, movement and meditation. Having the awareness, if you're still struggling, utilize these two things, meditation and movement. When I say movement, it can be any kind of movement. It can be dancing. It can be jumping around. It can be hiking. It can be martial arts. Everything that is actually geared towards actually opening the meridians. Oftentimes my clients saying, "But why do you tell me to do all this?" It's actually like literally getting acupuncture without getting needles. Many of the martial arts have been developed to trying to open up the meridians because each meridian runs through the arms, legs, head, back, and front. In ancient time, when they moved their arms in certain way, they realized, wait a minute, it opens up the lung meridians. When I do this, it opens up the large intestine meridians. This is how I came about Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu, Karate, Hapkido, you name it. And I'm sure you might have seen a video of this old Chinese lady doing this in a park. This is a Tai Chi movement to open up the meridians. So when you are stuck in that recording of hearing the recording of negative thoughts and emotion going to your head, you do these two things. For a while, consistency is more important than how long you do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we need some discipline in the beginning. Discipline is actually required because people often judge themselves like, oh, that was a bad meditation. I cannot believe I have so many thoughts in my head. No, still it was a meditation. It still was a good meditation. It actually builds something within you. And when you move your body, oh, I didn't do I didn't do enough exercise, whatever that might be. But you've done something, you started something. Just be consistent with it, even if it's a 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And until the point, and you go to the point that that's all you want to do. When you go into the meditative state, and eventually when your channel, when your meridians start opening up, it's better than drug. And that's all you want to do all day, every day. So I would say utilize two things. But as far as the movement goes, you can do whatever you want to do.
I'm glad that you mentioned those two and also the practicalities of it because it is even more important. Banya, there is one other thing I wanted to hear your thoughts about, and it is the concept of reminder that you talk about. And by reminder, I mean that we already know inside us what we need, that inner knowing. My question is, how can we reconnect with that inner knowing? I suppose in many ways it's similar to what we have already been discussing,
Mhm.
but in terms of more of that, inner knowing or path or purpose or however else one might translate that. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay. Yes, the inner knowing is already there. Inner knowing is already built in within us. We just have to work on letting go of all this external stuff. When we clear the external stuff, you know that you already know. Letting go of this external stuff can be done through those two things, meditation and movement. I remember one of my clients who is a dancer after long hours of practice, and she just lay down on the floor and she just felt this kind of knowing and also awareness, like it's all within me, all within my body, because all the external noise subsided at the time. Inner knowing is already there. We already have it. It's a built-in that we are born with. That is a God-given right that it's already there that for us to use. When you walk into a store that you never walked into in your life, and you feel like you have been there. When you talk to somebody for the first time, but you feel like you know this person. And plus, we have experience of deja vu. Those are not accidents. We already have been there. We already have done this. It's already been within us. The awareness has been already built in, and we are just recognizing that. So letting go of this external noises is the key.
Thank you. Very useful when you think of it like that as the inner knowledge and the external noise that prevents us or blocks us from accessing it. But yeah, it's been a really fascinating conversation, and as I will start wrapping things up soon. The first thing I would like to ask you is where do you want to direct the listener that has enjoyed listening to you and wants to learn more?
Well, you can offer your audience free clarity sessions. If you want to sign up, you could just go to my website. banyalim.com.
Thank you. That's great. And Vanya, I have two questions that I always ask my guests, even since the very beginning over 5 years ago. The first one is, what does personal development mean to you?
Knowing my power, knowing that I'm already free.
And a hypothetical one, if you could go back in time and meet your 18-year-old self, what's one piece of advice you would give her?
I'm sure many people say this already. Don't care about what other people say. Do not waste your time. They don't think about you as much as you think they do.
Indeed. But I want to thank you so much for this conversation, and I appreciated very much let's say, the actionable, the practical elements that you shared throughout the conversation, because that's always my intention with the podcast. Is not to give to the listener theory about something, as interesting as might be. Theory is not changing anyone. The transformation, the change happens by taking action on the theory. So thank you very much for sharing the practical elements that you did. I will leave it to you for your parting wisdom to the listener.
There is a tremendous power within you, literally within the body. It's time for us to tap into that. And more than ever, everything's lined up in our lives to thrive at this time. I know our external world looks like things are falling apart, but the truth is we are spiritually evolving much faster than ever before. So hold on tight and just go within.
Thank you.